Hi everyone, my name is Erin Elizabeth Weinberg. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you are new here. Today we have a full moon in Aries, and today is also known as the Hunter's Moon. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, this is because we are preparing for winter, and so this was the name given when it was time to make sure we're hunting so we have some meat to get us through the winter. Southern Hemisphere, sorry, but this is the Northern Hemisphere name. But besides all that, Mercury has gone direct. And now we have a full moon in Aries. And so just as a reminder, full moons are about letting things go. They're about releasing, they're about cycles ending. So I'm going to be reading the cards for you in that way today for this Pick a Card Tarot reading. And so just if you're watching this when it's not the full moon, there can still be a message in here for you. So just listen to your body, take what resonates, because this is just a general reading. And just know that if you felt called to watch this video, there is a message in here for you. Okay, I've inserted a picture of the three groups. So you can go ahead and take a minute. You can pause the video. You can pick by the number. You can pick by the card you can see. You can pick by the sound of my voice. Group 1, 2, or 3. The timestamps for all the readings are below. And when you're ready, I will see you at the reading that you choose. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 1. So just a reminder, we do have a full moon today. So full moons are about releasing, letting things go, cycles ending, things you want to release from your life. So again, I will be reading the cards in that way. And so for everyone in group 1, you picked this card, Walk by Faith and Not by Sight. So I feel like maybe some part of you connected to this. Obviously, there's a beautiful like third eye image on there. So I think this is really saying if you've been going through a hard time, if you've been exposed to some things that don't feel good, if maybe you feel like you've been holding out for forever on something, you've been trying really hard to make things happen, or you've had to be patient longer than your ego wants. This card is really saying, walk by faith and not by sight. And just, sometimes there is a time and a place to ignore physical reality, and there's a time and a place to not ignore it. And so I feel like when it comes to something you're waiting for, or knowing that you deserve the best, knowing that there's something out there that is for you, that is a match for you, right? A lot of times we can get overwhelmed by thinking like, well, where is it? But just remember that that desire wouldn't have been placed in your heart by God if it was not possible for you. So with this full moon, if you can ask to just let go of some of the attachments to, like, please help me move more into faith. Please let me release some of my doubt. Please let me believe, the power of my visualization, imagination, more so than like physical reality. So if any of that resonates, this can just be a good reminder message for that, for you. I'm feeling with this group, I'm feeling energy of like very mystical, magical, otherworldly type of stuff. So maybe if you've been ignoring some of your like energetic hygiene practices or ways that you connect to the other side, to your higher self, this could be a sign to maybe like amp that up again, to kind of focus on ways that you can connect to that energy again. It's going to be really important for you with this one. Okay, so like usual, I am going to start with your tarot, and then I will finish with your oracle cards. Okay, 4 of Cups in reverse to open, Page of Swords in reverse, Knight of Cups, the Chariot, 5 of Pentacles, not 3, 10 of Pentacles, and then 7 of Cups. Okay, well, with this group, I mean, where do we want to start? Probably at the beginning. Okay, so I feel like with both of these in reverse, 4 of Cups in reverse and Page of Swords in reverse, I feel like you going along with this energy of walk by faith and not by sight. Sometimes, we do have to clean up some things in physical reality before we are able to move into that place of faith again, right? Sometimes we have to make sure we have our stuff together in physical reality before it's easier for us to be like, oh, okay, there was a plan here. There is something for me here. There is, all of that coming through. So I feel like both of these in reverse is you've kind of done some of that reevaluation already. And so with that full moon, it can be more about shifting from maybe maintenance and cleanup and just moving more into like abundance, right? So like sometimes we have to go from A to B, which is like A to B can just be identifying the pattern and then stop doing it and then do all the maintenance from all the hell that was caused from that. And then B to C is like moving into more abundance of, okay, now that I did that, what can I do moving forward and how can I move forward? So this Four of Cups in reverse and Page of Swords in reverse, I feel like Four of Cups upright is very much about like blocked, not receiving, not being willing to see what's there for you with all that. So I feel like with this full moon, you're kind of ready to move forward. And then Page of Swords in reverse also is Page of Swords can be about like a fresh start, setting boundaries with all that. So maybe you've been doing that for a while. And then Four of Cups could just be in reverse, could also just be that you're like you've just been focused on like your own energy and cleaning your own energy up. Not that you're not open to receiving things, but your focus has been like, okay, this is what I need to work on in my life. This is what I want to build up for myself. This is like a lot of internal focus and a lot of internal, like, I'm not ready to receive because I know I need to get my own energy and have my own stuff in balance. And a lot of times, sometimes a lot of times we can't go through phases of isolation or hibernation or internal things that push us to the other side, so we're ready for them on the other side. So this is just saying a lot about if you've been in that cycle for a while, it feels like you've been in it for a while, this is really saying it's coming to a close with these things here. And maybe you've like had to reevaluate your boundaries and like you weren't ready to put some boundaries externally. You were more focused on, okay, how can I show up for myself and make sure that I'm again focused internally and not so much like not ready to set out and put the boundaries outside of me. I just want to focus on myself for right now. Because what comes after that is this beautiful Knight of Cups and the Chariot. Okay, so both of these are about forward motion. Knight of Cups is about forward motion, and so is the Chariot, but Knight of Cups is like a little bit more slower moving than the Chariot. So with the Chariot's the theme of your reading. We'll start with Knight of Cups. So Knight of Cups, again, is about moving forward. And you can see just the horse is like moving pretty calmly, pretty slowly. So this is forward motion. This is kind of like emotional reawakening. This is opening your heart center back up, with cups being about emotions, right? So kind of ready, like I'm ready to receive. I'm ready for my cup to be filled. So this can be energy around like you are ready to move forward. You are ready to start taking action towards things that can support you, can show up for you, that are a benefit to your life. So all of that energy with this. And then this is just a really nice little nod from, I love when the tarot is so literal like this, because it usually always is. These Four of Cups upside down is like, this could be the one that the blessing that was like showing up in your periphery, right? The abundance. And then maybe you weren't ready to receive it, but now you are. So you got that focus moving forward. So I think with this full moon, you can kind of ask yourself, what can I release in terms of things that, like what was I closed off from before externally that maybe I'm ready to open my energy up to now. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but sometimes when we're really focused on ourselves and we just need to take that time to go inward, to rewrite ourselves, recalibrate our energy, right? Sometimes we're not totally open to this thing outside of us. So this could be just focusing on what is the thing you want in your life. Maybe you want to focus on relationships, maybe you want to focus on your career, maybe you want to focus on your living situation, or something that's more external, that where you want to put your energy with that, and just kind of start to open your energy up to that and have the fluidity, the movement to move forward with it. And just really, again, starting to possibly open that up for you. So again, with this full moon, you can ask for, and you can journal or think about or write about like what are ways that you can allow that to come into your life, or to open that up for you. Because again, right after that, like I said, in the Chariot is the theme of your reading, because it's right in the center. This is about forward motion. So picking up momentum with this, just kind of like knowing that, okay, once you find your way once you start, but you have to start to find your way. Right. So once you get going, once you kind of set the intention and open your heart and open your energy to do it, you can then have this Chariot energy to keep moving forward and to keep making something happen. But this is about, I feel like you're moving into a time of things happening, right? There can be times where it seems like not a lot happens, or, there's a lot of energetic shifting and rewriting and things going on internally, and then that radiates outward eventually. And so I feel like for group one, you guys are moving into more of some of like the physical reality shifts and changes that happen after you have been dedicated to yourself for a while. And so the Chariot is definitely symbolic of that. And again, if you're like, okay, Erin, sounds good, but nothing's happening in my life, just remember this one: walk by faith and not by sight. So just remember, things are happening for you. They are working out for you, even if you can't see it in this moment. Things are moving for you, and just again having faith with that as you continue to move forward. Because after that, moving forward with your reading, so okay, I feel like I need to read all of these together because they are all connected. Okay, so we have 5 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, 7 of Cups. So a lot of times when we start to move forward and when we start to go out of our comfort zone and we start to kind of slowly be like, okay, I'm ready for the next thing. Okay, I'm really ready for it. I'm moving. Sometimes what can happen is, of course, like our comfort zone is where we are. And even if we don't like what's going on in there, it's our comfort zone. So it's familiar. So we'd rather be there than out there where we don't know what's going to happen, right? Even if it sucks, at least we know it's stuff that we know, and we know it sucks, but it's familiar to us. So I think this is talking about with this 5 of Pentacles, as you start to move forward, you are going to feel like you're out in the cold. You are going to feel like, abundance is just out of reach. That like, why did I do this? This is so stupid. I should have stayed where I knew what was going on, right? So I think this is talking about calibrating your energy and moving at a pace that is like pushing yourself a little bit, but not to the point where you shut down and freak out and like this is your total energy. So if you feel like this as you're starting to move forward or things are starting to change, you feel a little nervous, just remember that, you are stepping outside of your comfort zone a little bit, and it makes sense if you don't feel the best about it, right? So it makes sense if you can feel a little nervous or like you're abandoned or like you don't know what's going to happen. It's very normal when you start to get out of your comfort zone. So I think this is just saying, that can happen, but look at what's right next to it is the 10 of Pentacles, right? So this beautiful, beautiful abundance, a lot of physical reality abundance. Pentacles are about their earth energy. And so this is about physical reality abundance. So if maybe another thing I'm hearing is like, if you see someone else having what you wish, that's not like you being teased or punished or like, haha, you'll never have this, right? God doesn't work like that. That's for you to just be like, okay, that person has it, so it's close for me now too. So this is really saying that, when you have, when you see what people have, don't use it as ammunition against yourself. Just remember that that's a way for you to see that things are possible for you because you've seen the example around you. And so that's really saying, this is about, again, not shutting yourself out of your comfort zone, and also not like beating yourself up or feeling bad when you see someone having abundance, because this is really nice. Physical reality abundance will come in for you as you move forward and as you continue to take these steps and like make what you want to have happen. And then closing your reading with the 7 of Cups. So this is just, again, when we're talking about literal tarot here, okay, we went from 4 of Cups in reverse to like, I'm not open to anything, to Knight of Cups, so like, okay, I'm going to focus on this one thing, to 7 of Cups. So I just feel like this is like, you are going to have choices. You're going to have abundance in many areas of your life. You can move through this. You can get there to the other side. You can make it happen for yourself. All that is possible. And then again, just very nice paired with this abundance. It's like you can have so much abundance that you have choices for what you want. So it's not just like, I just wanted this one thing, and I'm just going to take this first thing because that's the only one that's possible for me. Okay, that's not it at all. This is really about, just knowing that when you do have full abundance and when you embody abundant energy, you know that you have a lot of options, and you choose something because it feels right for you, not because you're choosing from fear or like, oh, this is the only one that I'm ever going to have, or this is the only way it's ever going to work for me, right? We're not doing that. This is about, again, identifying and embodying, like choosing something because it feels right for you, not because you feel like it's your only option. Okay, let's look at your oracle cards. Okay, this is just, again, if this is your first time on my channel, I pick my cards in advance, but I don't like look at them to pick them. And sometimes the message is just very clear here. And so for this group, I mean, first of all, look at this colors. These are all like the same color shade. Okay, so that's a nice message. But all of these are about abundance and yeah, just, I mean, let me just tell you what they say instead of just getting excited over here. But if you are not, if you are having some blocks around if you are mystical or magical enough to make these things happen, then all of these are basically dumping that theory immediately. Okay, which one do I want to start with? So we'll start with this. Your commitment is being tested, first quarter move. So this is, again, very much this energy that we had in the beginning of your reading of walk by faith and not by sight. So I just feel like, again, this is a lot of times when things, we can be really motivated or excited to have something happen or to do it, but then if it takes a little bit longer than our ego would like, or a lot longer than our ego would like, right, then that's what faith is. And sometimes it can feel like we're missing something when people are like, just have faith, just trust, because you literally can't do anything besides have faith and have trust, as long as you're taking care of your side of the street and doing what you need to do for yourself. So if you feel like you've been really pushed to your limit and really just like, I committed to this, and this could be like not just a physical reality commitment, but like a spiritual commitment. I'm really getting the energy with this group of like, to get to that next level of like embodiment on earth. This is really about a lot of spiritual progress and a lot of spiritual growth that can only happen usually through like discomfort and you know, embodying our relationship with our higher selves and holding on to that. And so going along with that, we have the card Earth, learning how to be human in the world but not of it. So again, just what I was saying of just like, you know, when we're on Earth, it's very dense here. There's a lot of energies to work through. There's a lot of things to work through. There's a lot of ways that we can feel like, you know, we're not, you know, it's like, well, why do I have to do that? Why can't I just have everything right away? Why don't I, you know, it's a lot of rules to play by here. And so I feel like this card is just a reminder, just give yourself some grace and compassion. If, you know, you had to take this time to turn inward, you had to take like, you know, a little recovery, a little recuperation energy. And just remember that, like, you know, we're not robots, we're not machines, we're not going to perfectly go up in a straight line of progress. There is going to be ups and downs. There is going to be different ways that we do things or make things happen. And so again, this is just about reminding yourself that Earth is not, it's about self-mastery. It's not about mastery of these like external things to be an exact specific type of way all the time. And then how do you do that? Okay, so I think these two cards go together really nicely. When I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes real. And then talk to God. So again, I feel like a lot of times when we go through a hard time where things aren't happening physically for us, or, you know, we do need to take some more time for ourselves and go internally a little bit, that is just a time for us to connect to our higher power. That's a time for us to connect to God. That's a time for us to remember that, again, with this faith here, like a lot of faith is coming up with this group. So if that's coming up for you, just remember that, you know, when you lean on the faith of the universe or on God, on your higher power, peace becomes real. And you can do that by talking to God, right? Sometimes we get so freaked out, like, or so overwhelmed, like, how do I talk to God? How do I do this? How do I do this? Like, just talk out loud to nothing, right? Or just talk in your mind. Just trust that God hears you, your higher power hears you. And even if if it's not immediate, there are things happening behind the scenes that we don't know about. And so again, walk by faith, not by sight, leaning into that faith, and just remember that, like, okay, what do I think I need to feel peaceful in this moment? Remember that even if you're not getting it exactly right away in that exact way, you still can have clarity and abundance. You know, you can tap into that energy before the physical reality things change to some degree. And then the last card is Hollyhock, Flower, and Abundance. So again, just reminding you, just want to end this reading to remind you that, you know, abundance is real. Abundance is our birthright. Abundance is our natural state. But when we're on Earth, there are a lot of things going on that can make it feel like it's not, and make it feel like it's not accessible to us, and make it feel like that, you know, these things are not for us. But that's not true. Abundance is a reminder from all of this reading. Abundance is real. It is your birthright. And even if, excuse me, your physical reality isn't reflecting that right away, it is an energetic state we can tap into as we continue to move forward. And I know I said that was the last thing I want to do, but I just want to pull one more card from this deck we started with, just to kind of bookmark your reading for this full moon. We'll see what we get for one more little nice message. Grow deep roots. How beautiful. So again, a lot of times, there's a quote that's like, the seed, you think you're being buried, but you're being planted, right? So sometimes, like, again, we have to go through this process that's not immediately up the scale, but it is more internal. It is more like these things are settling, you're planting roots of faith, of belief, of whatever. And all of that is working for you, for your highest good. And so that times of discomfort are just a chance for us to anchor into ourselves and our faith. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Happy full moon. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 2. So as a reminder, this is a full moon reading. So I will be reading your cards for you in a sense of like letting go, releasing things, of patterns you want to let go of. But if you're watching this one, this is not the full moon. Just a reminder that there is a message in here for you if you felt called to watch this today. So as always, take what resonates and leaves the rest, because this just is a general reading. But I think, again, there is a message in here for you if you felt called to watch this. So group 2, you guys picked Begin Again. So I think that's a very apt card for a full moon. So sometimes, we don't realize we can only feel like we've begun again when something in physical reality changes, but every day we have a chance to begin again in terms of kindness to ourselves, compassion to ourselves, understanding to ourselves, patience with ourselves, any and all of that. So this card is really talking about, you can begin again as soon as you want. It can just be, it doesn't have to be like, a giant move in physical reality to feel like you're beginning again, right? Like you don't have to move across the world, or you don't have to quit your job. You can't do that. Like if that's what you feel called to do, definitely. But this is also about, what is an area of my life I haven't been super compassionate to myself? What's an area of life I haven't been patient with myself? What's an area of my life I can, tell a new story about something that's happening or will happen or has been happening, right? So this is really talking about, with this full moon, maybe you want to journal on what stories about yourself do you need to let go of? What things do you feel like you are buying into that maybe aren't serving you anymore? So this Begin Again can really be about beginning again, just really choosing something that is more abundant and just a more peaceful, relieving story. And of course you can write for, some things we can't do overnight. So maybe with this full moon, you want to journal like, I want to begin again in my relationships or in my career or in my this or in my whatever, right? So you can think about that big picture wise, maybe something that won't be overnight, but this really can be about how can you begin again energetically with something if you've been feeling like off with it or like it hasn't been the easiest, smoothest path for you. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to start with your tarot and then we will go with your oracle cards. So opening your reading, Moon in reverse. Okay, what's going on, group 2? 4 of Wands, 3 of Wands, the Sun, Page of Wands, and 7 of Wands. Okay. Well, a lot of wand energy. Okay, you have 2 major arcana cards and then the rest are wand energy. So a lot of fire energy. Wands is the suit of fire. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. And you have the Sun and the Moon. And then you have 4 of Wands, 3 of Wands, Page of Wands, 7 of Wands. So, I mean, and then I knew, okay, a card was missing. So I just checked and there it is. And then 9 of Wands, another Wands. Okay, group 2, we're feeling some fun. And then this is the Aries full moon also. So we got a lot of energy going on here for you guys with these things. Okay, so so 2 major arcanas and then all the other is a suit of that. I'm just feeling this is just overwhelming. So I just need a moment. Okay, with this group, I mean, the center of your reading, the theme of your reading is the sun. So this is about a new day. This is again about beginning again, new dawn, new energy, new whatever. This is about being the light, but moving forward. And so, and then also, of course, sun does rule fire signs in astrology. So group 2, if you've been going through an intense time, this is some pretty intense energy, okay, that we're picking up on with this. I feel like, so the moon in reverse is, so the moon upright is maybe about like some things hidden beneath the surface, some things we can't really understand or we're not totally clear about or what's going on. So the moon in reverse is, I feel like there's been some awareness, some things have come to the surface. You've been able to make some decisions, especially in regards to this 4 of Wands, like the things you want in your life, what you want to create, the type of life you want to have, the things that are important to you. So maybe this was a little different than what you thought was going to happen, or maybe you just reached some conclusions about, what does partnership look like for you, or what does your dream job look like for you, or what does your lifestyle, your dream lifestyle look like for you. Well, maybe it's having no job, right? So what does all of this look like for you? I feel like there's been some awareness and maybe some subconscious bubbling has come up that you're now been able to be like in the recent past, like, okay, this was actually what I thought and what I wanted, and this was how I wanted to move forward. And then you have the 3 of Wands, which is about like decision making. So maybe you had some things come up and maybe they've been a little you realize them, but maybe there's some resistance there because it might be different than your lifestyle right now, or the path you thought you were going to be on, the things you thought you were going to be committed to, the way you thought your life was going to be going. And so this is really about, can you, like, maybe you've been at a crossroads. This is like very standstill reflective energy. So maybe you've been at a crossroads because you thought, this thing was going to make you happy, but then very clearly, your life took a turn, you had a different direction, you had new insight, which again, that's part of life, right? God laughs when you make plans. So this could be about you just taking a moment to be reflective, to kind of hold that energy for yourself, and just really, I'm just getting an image of like water, like really washing yourself clean and really like giving yourself permission to feel that new thing and again begin again. Okay, so there's energy very much so in this reading, and then moon, of course, with this water energy here. So just kind of letting those things come to the surface and maybe not judging them. Maybe you've had like an inkling towards what you want or what you want to be different, but this is more about really allowing those things to be different and really allowing yourself to feel the full fantasy of what you could want to be different or have different in your life. So this is really about, again, letting those things, what would really make you happy, what would really put you on the gateway to the next level of your life, and then taking a moment to be reflective. And so maybe with this full moon, what you want to release and let go of is these ideas of, please help me let go of these attachments I have to this old lifestyle or this old way of being or these old things I thought I needed in my life that maybe aren't really super aligned with where you want to be going in the future with that. Because we have the sun, which again, the theme of your reading, this is about rebirth, this is about newness. This is like this cute little naked baby just like flying free in the sun. So this is about, again, beginning again. I feel like this is a really good theme for you, even if you just want, with this full moon, just write begin again at the top of a journal page and just free write. I feel like that could be very helpful for you. What does that look like to you? What does that mean to you? What's coming up for you from those 2 words with this little baby? Again, can be about the ways that you like a rebirth is also this energy, right? So as you did take this time to get clear about what you do want to have happen for you, these new paths, these new things you want to choose for yourself, right? You're coming out of it with this rebirth energy, with this lighthearted energy, with like, just really revitalized, really like that fire energy I was talking about with all these wands of just like ready to move forward and ready to just decide like, okay, this is what we want. Wands is also the suit of action. So taking action, making it happen. So theme of your reading, rebirth, beginning again, all of that. And so, because again, we are with a full moon today, maybe you can journal and think about and write about, or just pray about anything, things that you would need to let go of in order to be reborn. So what would you really need to cut out of your life? It could be attachments, thought patterns, physical reality things, maybe clutter you need to get rid of. What would you need to get rid of to kind of really embody this sun newness energy that you have going on here? Because after that, we have the Page of Wands, which is really beautiful. And so I feel like this is a very nice progression from this Three of Wands to the Page of Wands, of like really being contemplative and really thinking, you know, what do I want? What do I want to have happen? All of that. And then right into this Page of Wands, which is like you made the decision, you're kind of like, you know, this person on the cards examining the wand. So you're really examining your choice, you're really dedicated to it, you're really thinking about, okay, you know, this is the way I want to go now. This is the path I want to move forward on. And so I'm ready to look at that and ready to do it, ready to make it happen. So I feel like with this energy, you know, this is looking at a little bit of future energies of just like, you know, if you are getting clear about what do I want, what would have to have happen, this could be like maybe going one step further and then being like, okay, this could be the first step that I do with myself. This could be the first way I can get started. If my end goal is now this, what's like, you know, step one, step two, like, you know, you don't know all the steps, but you can know what's the first little tiny action you can take to get there. That could be coming up with this Page of Wands. And then closing your reading, we have the Seven of Wands and the Knight of Wands. So I feel like a lot of times when we change our lives, when we begin again, when we whatever, there is a lot of fear that comes up just because we're doing something different. Maybe if we're, especially for this group, if your begin again is maybe like a little bit more extreme, or maybe there's some attachments to a certain lifestyle or certain expectations, or just the way that you feel like your family and friends are seeing you with this energy. So this is about like a lot of self-imposed internal conflict. This is a lot about like making things more intense in your mind, or like fear stories versus like what's actually real, right? So this card is like, I look at it as a card of confusion based on like thoughts that are running in your own mind. So you can see this person, they have two different shoes on. There's these wands that are like supposedly attacking them. They have to defend themselves, but there's no other people in this card. We don't know what's going on. So this card to me is really about just getting clear the ways that you might be just like making some of these fears real as you start to, you know, sometimes our fears can keep us in our comfort zone and keep us from beginning again, keep us from starting new, because we're so worried about, you know, what could happen. So I think you can just get clear and just remember that you can just move things one thing at a time. And then again, this very beautiful progression here from the Page of Wands to the Seven of Wands to the Knight of Wands. You can see like this from here to here, so each with one wand. So this is like maybe figuring, maybe I want to do this, maybe what's going on. And then Knight of Wands is really about like, I'm moving forward, this is what I'm doing, this is what I want to do, all of that. So this is really about like feeling the fear and doing it anyway, identifying your fears, and then just kind of playing the tape all the way and being like, okay, I'm scared of this, but this is how I can handle it, or this is what I'm afraid of, but this is how I know I can show up for myself if I do feel a certain way about these types of things. So this energy is really about you know, just kind of feeling the fear and doing it anyway, identifying what you want, knowing that fears are going to come up. And again, that's actually a good thing, because when we move out of our comfort zone, when we move to what we want, if we weren't changing things like that were familiar around us, we wouldn't be into something unfamiliar, which then again means that we're moving towards something that we really do want. And so this Knight of Wands, again, is about feeling more confident, feeling more comfortable, feeling just like you can do it, you can make this thing happen for you as you move forward with all of this. So really closing your reading with this forward momentum of just like, it's time to do something different. It's time to make something happen. And again, really nice here, even just this way so you can see the progression. But you know, you see the three pyramids here, the three pyramids here. So just really like this very clear energy of this is what I started with and this is where I'm going with that. Okay, then let's look at your oracle cards. Okay. Okay, so we'll start with this one because this is what I was talking about. Again, maybe you're a Leo if you're watching this, because there's a lot of fire energy, or maybe you have Leo in your chart, maybe not your sun sign, maybe your moon or your rising or your Mars, or other places in your chart. But this is new moon in Leo. Confidence is your key to success. So this is just what I was talking about with feel the fear and do it anyway. Just identifying the ways that maybe your ego is trying to, downplay you, to convince you like, oh, we're going to have all these obstacles. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be, you won't be able to do it. But this is really about embodying that lion energy, that energy of, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm ready to do. And so I want to do it. And so really embodying like fake it till you make it, not in terms of like, pretending certain things, but fake it till you make it is really important in terms of, feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Just like, I feel nervous, I'm going to acknowledge that, but guess what? This is the step I'm going to take today, and I'm going to do it, and I'm committed, and that's it. So just know that, feeling confident, reminding yourself, this is like what I thought about, this is what I realized, this is what I want to have in my life. And so using that confidence to kind of guide you to take a step to move forward, all of that. Because we have, you are not afraid. And look, this is so funny because this could also be like a wand. So, I mean, it might not be, but just with this whole reading, this is so much wands energy. But again, just what I was talking about, like reminding yourself that, this is supposed to be like, a small guy versus the big guy, but a message I'm getting from this could be like, you are this person, you are your higher self, you are the soul, the part of you that's already has it figured out, already knows this is the path for you, this is the way you want to be going. And so this is really about, identifying that, embodying that, and just knowing that you are not afraid, because this is like what you can feel you're meant to do. And just reminding us that like our soul doesn't steer us wrong. As long as you've been reflective, been internal, done the work, that you are on the right path to make these things happen for you. And so this is just a reminder that even if a part of you feels afraid, some part of you is not afraid, because you would not be called to do this or to make it happen or to have it be part of your life if, your soul was like, no way, this is not what I'm doing, right? So there's fear we can feel that's like, hell no, that's not for me. And then there's fear we can feel that's like, I'm just nervous about moving forward. And so just reminding yourself that if this is something that you, again, have felt called to do, the message has been pretty clear, you kind of know what's going on and what you want to have happen, just reminding yourself that you're not afraid, because you can feel like there has been a moment of clarity, right? Where we can kind of get the guidance to know what we want to do, but it's just when we sit and think too much, or when we talk ourselves out of it, when we, get stuck in these loops in our mind, that we feel like we can't move forward with it. So part of you is not afraid. So there's a very clear message with that for you. And then we'll start. So we have juniper, the plant juniper, invigorate. So I feel like what this is really saying is, you need to feel motivated, right? When we feel scared, when we feel fearful, sometimes we aren't motivated to change until like shit hits the fan and we feel so bad. And so when we feel fearful about changing, or when we, and so when we get motivated by that, when we feel like a little bit of fear, a little bit of nervousness, we can shut down and not want to do it. So I feel like invigorate, this can be like, why do you want these things? Why do you want to start new? If you know why you want to do something, then you can be motivated to do anything. So just taking some time to like invigorate your plans, to get clear about why you want to do this, what could it mean for you, any and all of that will be very important as you move on this path of like moving towards what you want. And then we have these two cards, they go together and also they kind of match. Look that cute. Same color scheme. Okay, but so this one says Star Keeper, cosmic ancestor, seed the light by staying grounded. And then when I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love. So I think both of these are really saying, in all of this stuff we're talking about with you moving forward, with you making changes in your life, with all these things you want to do, just remember that you can stay grounded by connecting to like your spiritual practice. So sometimes we can get really focused and really excited on, I'm ready to do this, I'm ready to move forward with this, I'm ready to make this thing happen, I'm ready to do, whatever, that we can forget that you do have our cosmic ancestors, you do have, you can just be grounded in your body by doing breath work, by meditating, by just going out in nature, right? We can feel really clear and abundant and allow a lot of that to move through our body, just by staying grounded, like I said, and also, channeling those other things, which again, with this moon in reverse, I feel like you are connected to that, because that's where we can get the inspiration for the ways we want to move forward in our lives and the things we want to do. So just don't forget your spiritual toolkit is what I'm hearing as you continue on this path. And then when I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love. So again, this is what I was talking about with, I mean, this is very sun energy. This is very like, I'm love, I have a lot to offer, all of that. But just remembering that with a lot of these fears that might be coming up, or challenges, or things like, how can I figure it out? Just remember that, focus on your inner light with this sun energy, with this fire energy I see a lot with here. And just remember that that light is kind of what can guide you and can help you see the right guidance for you, instead of like from a fearful place. Okay, and then last thing I want to do is I'm just going to pull one more card from this deck that we started this reading with, just to close it for you. So one nice little message, one more message for this full moon for you. Time to heal and rise. Okay, so again, I feel like a lot of just again being a lot of reflected here of like, you took the time to turn inward, you took the time to get clear, and so now it's time to, there's a time for rest and a time for action. And so this is very, very action based, very fire energy based. So maybe you're moving into a chapter of your life where it is time for you to start to take more action and move into that next layer of yourself. Okay, that's everything I have for you. It's been my honor to read your cards as always. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Happy full moon, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 3. So as a reminder, full moon is about letting things go. It's about releasing. It's about cycles ending, choosing not to participate in certain thoughts, actions, behaviors, whatever, etc., as you continue to move forward with your life and with things that are going on for you. And so I'm going to be reading the cards in that way. But if you're watching this when it's not the full moon, that there is a message in here for you. Just have faith and trust in that, because this is a timeless reading. Okay, and so group 3, you guys picked Feast on the Nectar of Life. So at least some part of you is connected with this card. So I feel like this is really big energy of just lighten up, not like, not minimizing what you're going through, not minimizing that stuff just sucks sometimes and you just have to go through it and figure it out. But this really is about finding moments of gratitude, of joy, of even just 1 second of peace, right? If you can just take a moment to take a deep breath, or you can go out in nature, just see some beautiful nature. You can light a candle and just see some beauty, right? So this is really about on the more micro scale of just letting yourself enjoy something and find more peace in it. But then also on the larger scale, knowing that like the nectar of life is really about, just enjoying it while we're here, right? Sometimes as humans, we can be like, this is so serious and I have to do it this way and it has to be like this and it has to be like, you can get so caught up in that cycle of like boring routine, blah, 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 especially as we get older and more socialized into some of like the bullshit we have to do. So this is about just seeing if you can find some enjoyment, some peace, just lightening up on things, and just really knowing that like life is here to be enjoyed. And it doesn't mean that you're like ignoring hard times or pretending like hard things don't happen, right? That's not what this is about at all. This is just about giving yourself permission to enjoy life and know that there is so much sweetness accessible to us all the time. Definitely, even if we are going through a hard time, and those things can coexist no matter what narratives we're told that they can't or they shouldn't, or whatever, any of that. Okay, so like usual, I am going to start with your tarot, and then we will close with your oracle cards. Okay, so wow. Okay, so we have the High Priestess. Love her. Always love to see her opening your reading or a reading. 3 of Pentacles in reverse. 8 of Pentacles. Lovers in reverse. The Hierophant. 5 of Swords and 10 of Cups. Okay, so because this is a just a personal read, or just like a reading about you individually, whenever the Lovers comes out in readings, this is the center of your reading, Lovers in reverse, the theme of your reading. I always read the lovers as balancing masculine and feminine energy when it's just for an individual reading. And so regardless of your gender, all of us have masculine and feminine energy inside of us that we need to balance and we need to call out at different times. So masculine energy is about like taking action, making things happen, being proactive, doing. And then feminine energy is about being still. It's about receiving. It's about allowing. It's about hearing guidance. It's about just kind of being still and allowing things to come to you. And so with this lovers in reverse for the center of your reading, I feel like you are in a place or where your divine masculine feminine has been out of balance. So you've been relying on too much of one versus the other. And or take it how it resonates, because again, it's a general reading. This is about you, you need to put them, I don't want to say put them out of balance. They're not in balance. And so you need to do something to put them back in balance again. So something is going on here with you if you've been feeling really off sometimes, and because you had the feast on the nectar of life as the opening to your reading, I feel like maybe you've been very, very, very masculine in your energy. So you've been trying to force things or make things happen or control the outcome or, control things that you have no business controlling or like manipulating something to make it happen, right? Because with masculine and feminine energy, they can be wounded and we don't show up in the best way when that happens. And so this is really about, kind of finding balance with that. So before we get to that, I feel like, so in the beginning, so High Priestess is very much the embodiment of divine feminine energy. This is about knowing, this is about stillness, this is about, you can see there's like a lot of mystical tools here connecting to the other side. It's about receiving guidance, it's about allowing, it's about stillness. All of that energy is here with the High Priestess. And so I feel like with her coming out of your reading right next to this Three of Pentacles in reverse. Three of Pentacles is about teamwork. It's about connecting with other people. Maybe this is a part of you that you've kept hidden, or maybe you feel like, oh, this is only something between me and God only, which that's true, but you do need to have community of support with your spiritual practice or with ways that you can feel connected to God. You definitely need private, but I feel like with this energy, it's big time. Well, this is just my thing and I don't need a community around this, or I don't need people to support me around this, which is not true, right? It's like, it's so powerful when we connect to a higher power, just us. So it's so important also when we connect with a community, with people around us, all of those things going on together. So I feel like maybe this disconnect with the lovers in reverse has been, maybe you've been more private with that. You haven't been trying to find your community of people, or just like, this is something I can just do by myself. This is just something that's only for me to work on. This is just something for me to focus on. And I don't need anybody else to like have a good relationship with your higher power, which again is true because it's your higher power, your understanding, the ways that you connect with your higher power. But there is nothing like recognizing a higher power in community with people who support you, who do want the best for you, who can use spiritual tools with you to make that happen for you. So this is definitely maybe some energy that's been going on, or maybe it could be, that you are trying, like maybe you were raised a certain way and then like, a certain religion or a certain non-religion or a certain type of thing. And then maybe you feel called to incorporate some different types of connecting with God or some other things, and maybe you feel like, oh well, this is why I have to be private about it. And so I think what I'm really hearing is like, make sure you go find your community, go find people who can support you, go find people who are believing that those same things as you, so you can feel loved, supported, and connected in that way, because it really does make a difference in your life. Because with that, we do have Eight of Pentacles, and this is about hard work. But what I'm getting with that, based on those, and then the lovers in reverse here again with this masculine energy, is you've been working too hard. Like things don't have to be this hard, and it could be that maybe you're trying to overcompensate. Like the image you're putting to the world is so masculine focused, of just like, I'm making this happen, I'm doing this, not letting yourself receive, not letting yourself be taken care of, not letting things just be in the flow, but just instead being like, this is what I have to control, this is what I have to do, this is what I have to, whatever. This really can be about like, it feels it feels like you're trying to overcompensate, um, like to the world with some masculine energy, because maybe you are going through like a spiritual awakening, and maybe you feel like, okay, well, this is too weird, or I'm too out there, or too whatever. And so I have to show the world that, like, yes, I'm very logical, I'm very this, I'm very that, which again, we need both. But when they're not aligned, or when we don't give proper space for this kind of back and forth with the masculine and feminine energy, we can just get really thrown off. So and this, I think, also can be about working at something when you just need to when you just need to allow it. So maybe it could be maybe connected, you're trying to find a spiritual community and you're trying so hard that you're just like blocking stuff because you're not letting God bring things to you that could be working. So I think with this full moon, when we're thinking about releasing, you can just release, like, what are limiting beliefs I have about finding a spiritual community, or what are the beliefs I have about myself, if these are my spiritual beliefs, or how am I judging myself if this is my belief, or anything like that. And just not trying to work so hard and manipulate and control. And like, you do need to do your work, and you do need to do the things you can feel guided to do, but it is important to not do those things just because you feel like you have to, and this is like the way that you have to show up, or else you won't get what you want. So this is, I think, that balance with that. And then again, this leverage in reverse I was talking about, because this is just an individual reading, I think this is really about being out of balance between your masculine and feminine. And so with this full moon, again, you can just kind of make a list, get clear about, these are ways that I have been overusing my feminine or overusing my masculine, or not been in balance, and then just kind of surrender that list so you can safely light it on fire and release it. You can rip it up, you can bury it in the ground, just anything that would feel like, I'm ready to release this pattern of imbalance in my life, and ready to move forward in like these new ways that feel abundant and clear to me. Because once we go from there, we have the Hierophant right next to the Five of Swords. So Five of Swords can be about like misleading or cheating, or not good energy. And then the Hierophant is about a lot of like traditional energy. And so I feel like maybe some of the blocks that are coming up for you is maybe internalized messages from mainstream society, mainstream religion, mainstream like family values, or your community, something like this, where maybe you feel like, you'll be, I'm feeling like, I just felt it in my heart, like some shame, like you feel ashamed for these certain values or things you want to have or move forward in your life. And so I think getting really clear about maybe what is this like unhealthy internalized messages you receive that you want to release to move forward, and really not focusing on, the ways that you possibly could be cheated or could not feel good, but instead knowing that like some of these religious traditions and spiritual traditions have survived for thousands of years because they work. Okay, people definitely use them in unhealthy ways, and people definitely take advantage of them to harm other people, but there is something to be said about having a spiritual practice. There is a reason why cultures all around the world have some form of spirituality as part of their culture, even if people want to pretend like they don't. So this is really about, not associating some of the way people have manipulated or tainted something that can be really beautiful and wholesome and healing for your heart, and instead knowing that like there is goodness in some of these practices you're drawn to, and knowing that there is a way for you to connect to your higher self. And for Earth at this time, we definitely need everybody doing their part to be spiritually aligned in order to be able to do that. So I think this is definitely energy of just allowing like you to kind of cut the crap of maybe the toxic narratives you got about that. So again, with this full moon, you can ask to see these things you're drawn to with like eyes of kindness, with trust, with love, instead of maybe these judgments of okay, well, I can't like this because people have messed it up for me, right? So you don't want to have like a few bad apples ruin the whole thing, right? There can be love and care and kindness and healing and redemption and abundance and safety and spirituality in spirituality, and in, however that particularly looks like for you. Because closing your reading is so beautiful. We have the 10 of Cups. So this is about balance. This is about abundance. This is about abundance, especially Cups is like the emotion suit. So a lot of like abundance in terms of feeling emotionally sure, feeling emotionally proud, feeling just like this is what I know I needed to have happen and I'm glad it did. So I feel like when you kind of work through some of these, when you untangle some of like the messed up narratives that have been going on for you, these are ways that you can um, reach abundance. Like this, trust what you're being called to, and trust that like you can find the loving kind things in it as a way that is meant for you to have abundance in your life, even if you can't see it, because this is, again, like the God, all paths lead to one, and God or your higher power wants to speak to you and wants to communicate with you. And so if you feel just like I can't at all because of like the way people have misused or used this in a harmful way in the past, like this is now a time to clear that, especially with this full moon, because look at all this emotional fulfillment you'll have when you give yourself permission to be loved by your higher power, like in those particular ways. Okay, so your oracle cards. Okay, this is really nice. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. I'm unapologetic about what I desire and trust that what I focus on will grow. So again, this is when I'm talking about like that shame that maybe you have to work through, or these stories you have to release, or these things that maybe feel like, I can't have this thing because of, this person or this thing or this whatever that happened in the past. This is really about just, again, knowing that step one of being unapologetic is identifying what you want and knowing that like, this you are being communicated to. And if your desire is to have a healthy relationship with your higher power in a particular, through a particular way or particular set of things, that can be possible for you. But you just do need to identify that and then focus on that instead of all the loud bullshit distractions of pain, or why this couldn't happen for you, or ways that people have misused some of this in the past. And then going right along with that, we do have to be courageous. So this is, again, I feel like there's been a lot of inner turmoil for this group of like finding your path with that, feeling shame around it, just really not feeling like this is an easy thing. So just know that this is a path that is hard, but the reward will be worth it. Again, this 10 of Cups, really beautiful. But just remembering, like, again, what is on the other side will be worth it, and just doing one thing at a time, one step at a time, moving towards it, showing up for yourself. And then going along with that, jump in. So we have Andromedan energy, adventure, say yes to change. So again, the only way out is through, and you just gotta know that if you are feeling called to do this and make it happen, that there is something there for you, and there is something on the other side of this. And yeah, again, the only way you're going to be able to get there is, the only way out is through. You just have to start going. And then this image is really beautiful because you can see it's an eyeball, but it also is like the galaxy. And so I think, again, that just speaks to the ways that as humans, we are connected to some higher something. There has to be some belief in something outside of us to feel what I believe, to feel connected and feel like peaceful and like we're being guided in that way. And the way we can usually access those higher realms is by going inside, by venturing into our own souls, by identifying things that are going on inside of us, and just kind of using that to move forward, and knowing that like answers are within, and that can guide us to so much more peace outside of us when we go inward and when we feel really connected to a lot of that. And then we have new moon in Gemini. Communication is key. So I think, again, you can, if I didn't say this yet, you can pray for help. You can meditate, you can journal, you can do a ritual, you can do, whatever you want to do, but just knowing that you don't have to be on this path by yourself. You are supported by your spirit guides, by your angels, by God, by whatever you believe in, by nature, any of that. And so know that, like, again, I'm feeling really big energy of feeling like isolation and shame around like the ways that you want to feel connected to this higher power. So just talk about it, even if you just talk to God, even if you just talk to yourself out loud, or maybe if you don't feel comfortable doing that, journaling, praying silently in your mind, anything like that. But just know that just start to get it out and start to communicate, and that's really going to help kind of ease some of the self-judgment or maybe some of the shame that you've been feeling around this. And then the last oracle card we have is Violet, Attract. So again, what I was talking about with this masculine energy of like trying so hard, of like making things happen, of pushing things, of doing, right? This is really about, again, attracting. It's about letting things come to you. It's about saying, my intention is to feel more connected to my higher power. Please show me a way to do that. Please show me people to do that. Please show me the right way to do that. Please show me a book to read, a thing to buy. I mean, whatever, whatever words feel right to you, but just know that you don't have to overextend yourself and make it all happen for you, right? There's so many spiritual paths that say like, you just ask God for a little bit, God is going to come and give you, like, God's going to do so much of the work for you, but you still have to ask and you still have to do just a little bit of it on your own with this. So this is about knowing that if you feel overwhelmed, you don't know where to start, just ask, just start talking, just get clear about, this is what I need. I don't know how to do it. Put the request out there, right? We might have limits on what we think we can do in physical reality, but there's no limits on what we can ask for. There's no limits on what we can intend. There's no limits on what we can imagine with all of that. So just, again, don't downplay your ability to speak to your creator and have the path be shown to you in a way that feels good. Okay, and then I just want to end the reading today with one more of these cards from the same deck that we opened your reading with. So this one popped out, so we'll say soul to soul. That's really nice. So again, I feel like this whole reading has been about bearing your soul and just about really opening your heart up to, I just feel so nice. I just feel it in my heart center, just like opening your heart up to things that are for you, opening your heart up to like the next thing to happen for you, just really being vulnerable on the soul level to find the path that feels right for you, to find peace, to connect to that. So that's a really nice one to end on. That's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Happy full moon. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much again, and I hope you have a wonderful day.